Hello there everyone and welcome back. The votes are in and you have all chosen for me to play Chaos this time around, and to be perfectly honest, there's still a lot of work left to do with my Chaos fleet, so this is not going to be an amazing performance as far as how efficient and optimized my fleet is there. It is all intents and purposes the Lance type focus, with a little bit of carriers to kind of help complement the spoiler and of course the more aggressive play with the slaughter, but nonetheless, I am in a bit of an odd predicament here. You people are awful, and the main reason that is this stasis bomb. This stasis bomb is really damn important for the Lance type setup, mainly because their firepower for Chaos is like one of the only factions that aren't really hindered by a stasis bomb, with a possible exception of maybe Eldar or anything that's reliant heavily on Lances. But the stasis bomb, as I found out since last time playing Chaos, are really damn bugged. What else is there to really say? For if you ever fire your weaponry or macro batteries while inside the stasis bomb, it actually reduces your rate of fire, not just the projectile speed. And I want to argue that even the projectile speed is not actually getting slowed down for whatever weird reason. So I am going to have a difficult time trying to utilize this fleet, because what I'm going to try and do to help avoid bugging at winning, well, let me rephrase that. What I'm going to try and do to avoid like winning based on broken game mechanics is I'm going to try and put the stasis bomb at least so far forward ahead of my opponent that it's almost impossible for him to fly into the stasis bomb while still being in the way, so that way they're forced to kind of go around it and forced to take detours, which ultimately still serves its role, even if it were never to get a direct hit on them. Because stasis, what is it, not really stasis, but Chaos, for all intents and purposes, really just want to avoid combat as much as possible. They don't have the armor to kind of take head-on assaults really well, as you kind of seen when I was playing Tau, getting up close and personal, so this may be pretty damn boring and pretty damn slow. Because hell, I remember getting comments regarding how slow and uneventful Chaos fleets were, at least the Lance variant. And sadly, I do not have the renown I would have liked, because I would have been interested in experimenting with a carrier, or at least a very aggressive type of Chaos fleet somehow. Although my renown doesn't necessarily allow for it, aside for maybe a subpar, suboptimal fleet with my Hellbringers and of course my Slaughter to go with the spoiler. So that may be for another time perhaps. So we're stuck with the Lance variant with the occasional despoiler maybe making an entrance. And never mind the fact that the spoiler is actually pretty damn potent with its lance fire. The only catch is it kind of needs to face towards the enemy fleet for it to have the same kind of firepower, at least with the lances, as say the Acherons. So let's get this started, shall we? Alright, we're face off against an opponent I'm not really aware of, but it's going to be the classic good versus evil, I suppose. Well, technically Space Marines versus Chaos would be good versus evil, wouldn't it? But nonetheless, I do need to be very mindful again, as I said before, of the dang stasis bombs, because the Imperial Navy of all the fleets are probably going to be most crippled by that damn bug. Since after all, their rate of fire is like 12 seconds on the macro battery, so if that thing ever glitches out, they're pretty much not firing that thing for over a full minute, if not a minute and a half arguably, since it is like an 80% reduction to the rate of fire. But I do need the stasis bombs, and if it does bug out, then I am not going to be feeling pretty good, but we're going to give this a try. It is our first match back to Chaos, so we will need to refine our play nonetheless. So I'm going to play a little more cautious and proactively with the stasis bombs, with what I already said before, mind you. So, and it's very likely we could be fighting a level 10 fleet too, so this could complicate matters, especially with my lack of extended range and lack of like the overdrive upgrade. And I can't quite remember a lot of upgrades on what to go for here, aside for maybe for my siege favorite ships. I want to get the camo, which doubles the duration of my assault run, because it does work with the siege favor, mind you, so that's going to be pretty damn potent. But I expect, depending on the skill of this player, I'm not even going to try a Kankasapor. I have no idea if I even got close to pronouncing that, but regardless, depending on the caliber of his skill, this is going to be hit or miss probably. And I want to try and at least identify him early for the lances, because I at least do have extended lances on everything but my actual devastation. Hell, Even my Hellbringers have it there. Well, that's not a big deal just yet. I could Salt Run. It doesn't hurt to Salt Run, I suppose, but it's not that big of a deal aside for denying him his prioritization. And we do have 2 ships on the right. And I do have Salt Run as well, so why not just take... or not, Emission Dissipators rather, so let's take full advantage of that. And if he is spread out, I wasn't looking at the minimap very well. That's one of the things I try to do when I'm deploying against an opponent. I deliberately wait until they ready up more often than not, which is pretty convenient considering I'm trying to do my commentary at the same time, so it tends to drag on longer than usual anyway. Oh, and those are just Cobras. Well, I guess this is a lower level fleet, so I might... well, not really lower level, but a fleet that is in need of repairs, I guess, so this is not going to be very exciting, I guess. But I can kill these dang Cobras or Widowmakers really damn quickly. I just gotta make sure I'm in range with my lances for that before we do that. Oh, and he has Novacans too. So that works out for me. Let's get our lances ready. They are Widowmakers with that all said, mind you. And let's try and chase this down. He is identifying me again. That doesn't really matter all that much if he's not going to try and take advantage of it. Novacans aren't really needed for the extended sensors, mind you. But let's keep on hitting this thing. Try and kill these Widowmakers as quickly as possible. Although my heading is really bad, mind you. I should be trying to turn and get my lances to kind of contribute. Can I at least kill a Widowmaker? I don't want to really commit to a lock-on, because it seems kind of unnecessary. But a couple more hits will kill this. He has Novacans coming up, and it looks like he has the Emperor as well. So we know what he's feeling there. He is an Emperor. I'm trying to figure out what's firing those macro cannons, those single macro cannons, because the only thing I can think of would actually be an Emperor, right? I could be wrong, it could be part of the Mars's macro cannons firing, but I do have Salt Run available. I have the Siege Gas Cloud to keep hitting with, and he doesn't know about the Widowmaker Salt Run just yet, but so long as those Widowmakers are back behind everything else, I'm fine with that, in all honesty. I am perfectly fine with it. Let's just get turned around and get ourselves ready, because he does have this Celestial Body to also help him to an extent. And realistically, I would love to kind of like force a beacon on there, and that was kind of a bad, that was a pretty bad, reveal. Well, actually it was set on autocast. I take that back. It's not really as bad as I made it sound, it's just the inconvenience of an autocast, since the Widowmakers were in range and he didn't Salt Run with them just yet. So if I can get a couple more shots, start weakening him, he is kind of playing really safe there. And Novacans are going to get the fire momentarily. I should have repaired with this thing earlier. Because again, this Celestial Body is a little bit awkward. I do have boosters up. I can reposition really quick, and I am conveniently boosting out of the Novacans too. Now, what is the potential... oh, I forgot my fighters too. That's a big mistake there if he decides to get aggressive. So he's revealing me. I do have, again, beacons to help with this. Can I get... I can't quite get a beacon on that ship. And it doesn't seem like he's going to use a Salt Run anyway, with what we're learning so far. And it is a level 10 fleet with that said.
Tactical cogitators engaged.
He does have supercharged voice shields also on autocast, so we got to keep that in mind there in that regard. But we got some damage in. I do have more beacons ready to come on, or stasis bombs, and it is an Emperor like I was thinking. So he's going very heavy on the fleet. Just avoid a 200-point shot, that's all I need right now. And now once the shields are gone, we should be golden. Alright, so Salt Run's available. Although I'm an idiot because the Emperor also has the extended range on his sensors, so that may not have been as effective as I was thinking it would be. But once we kill these Novacans, that'll help alleviate a lot of this.
Engines hot.
Yep, deck is gone. This thing will be dead relatively shortly, so long as we keep getting hits like that. Also, Salt Run, I am hitting there. Weapons are dying. I think that was actually his... was it Novacan that died? It's hard to really say. And was that the shield recharge? Oh yeah, he does have a shield recharge, so he burnt a lot of his cooldowns for his shield so far. We just need to keep getting hits like that while all the while harassing them.
For the dark gods.
That's going to be tricky to do. I do have another stasis bomb though, so let's just... Oh, he's... Well, I'm getting value in my stasis bomb, I guess, if he's just going to completely disengage.
Show us something to kill.
Yeah, he's pulling back the Mars. We're good on this regard, and I can...
Engines hot.
Sadly, the stasis bomb's a bit of a whiff with that said, but I do have other means of defenses as well. Ooh, and that was a bad Novacan shot there. Wasn't paying attention to the Hullbringers very well.
We're unstoppable.
But Supercharge has also gone that. I like to keep hitting that one ship there. The one that's in back. Ooh, and I have repairs back up, or at least I have repairs available, rather, so... Let's keep destroying components, keep destroying the engines, and if possible, destroy as many of the macro weaponry on this Emperor as possible. Because I should have the better range advantage, because after all, my lances never miss, for all intents and purposes, so... If I could keep hitting them, that'd be good. I would love to kill the Widowmakers, but with an Emperor in play, that's not really a big concern, because he's still going to get that center vantage point regardless. So I have 200 shields, that's going to weather that really damn well. And he burns supercharged void shields on pretty much everything. And now we gotta keep in mind there's like a Novacan bug where 2-3 second delay can still do damage to me after a Novacan, I think. With that said, how are we doing on everything else? Because he is coming towards me currently. Hellbringers get turned around, start preparing to support. And I think we're in a situation, no, we just supercharged, so no, we're not in a good situation to lock on. So that was a bit of a waste, in all honesty. But very slow and uneventful, it's kind of in my advantage though. But that also said, if he doesn't want to try and commit, Novacans can wear me down slowly but surely, but at the same time, I'm not at real risk until he decides to get aggressive. The Emperor's all... Oh. I'm going to take a bit more hits here. Not much more, I'm hoping. Repairs are going to be up after a while, though. But they're hitting, they're good. Oh, I didn't want to boost with you, but keep on doing damage. Oh, no, I actually did lose a weapon as a result, so that's a bit unfortunate.
Engines hot.
We are getting hits there, but it's not going very well, I guess.
Command me.
And it was macro weapons, so this is going to be a very long match, I guess, with that said. I am getting the lance hits, though. And we did get a couple of critical hits, and I do have beacons also. Well, once they decide to cooperate, to shoot down the Widowmakers. So shoot down that ship there, get boosting, get regrouping. Maybe if the Hellbringers are so lucky they could kill the Widowmakers for me. Because I'm going to dodge this Novacan just barely. At least one of them I dodge. He doesn't quite have the staying power because my shields are mitigating so much of that firepower. And eventually these shots are going to stick. It's not going to work very well for my poor my Acheron here, mind you, but fighters are back up, fighters have got refreshed, and now we're kind of getting a little bit cramped now. Just slightly, and I haven't been paying attention to who actually is the defender, which is something I should seriously try and do, but it's not that big of a concern. I'd rather not win by a timer if at all possible. But Supercharged Void Shield is done. Let's see. Let's keep ourselves hitting. And in all honesty, I should try and destroy a deck of this Emperor, because it will cut his sensor range in half after all, so there is value in that.
For the dark gods. We're unstoppable.
So Acheron, I think you're going to have to get repositioned there to an extent as we keep on hitting his ships. Supercharge is gone there, so let's swap out our targets a little bit.
Engines hot.
And he is going to get tired of this charade eventually. So can I do the damage I need to? So, like I said, he is getting tired of charade, which is exactly what I want.
Just show us something to kill.
Now, let's punish this Emperor. Although technically, with its lack of prow armor isn't really... Okay. At least I'm using Slash for a change there, because I was playing slow and passive, but jamming his sensors is a big deal. Because that thing is hindered It's got its shields back up, and its deck's also gone, so
Return to normal function.
I have good means to kind of hide my ships quickly. And I should also turn on the lightning strikes for such an opportunity. Because this Emperor could die quickly. This thing is limping, it is hurting hard.
Show us something to
So long as the Hellbringers can do the same, some more damage.
Let the galaxy burn.
Those are the Widowmakers that are spying right now, so in all honesty, I think I want the Widowmakers try and kill, or have my Hellbringers kill the Widowmakers.
Forward to the
Yes, this
slaughter.
Emperor is limping hard. Which I'm okay with,
Moving to those coordinates.
because that thing is going to be dead shortly. He is flying away, stasis bombs deterring an attack, so... And I thought I launched my bombers. Apparently it did not launch for whatever weird reason, so...
I'll follow your command.
Just keep on firing and try and finish off this Emperor. That's what I want right now.
Command me.
I am taking a lot of damage, especially with a generator now gone.
Tactical cogitators
But
engaged.
my Hellbringers can take these hits still.
Tremble. For
I take that back. That thing just took a lot of hits. But his Widowmakers are dying. I should probably warp that thing out just for
Engines hot.
the sake of being able to keep it alive, I suppose.
Ready.
Salt runs back up. Once we kill the other Widowmaker, we'll be in amazing shape, though. Because, actually, he is already flying away with it, so that's not a problem. And he has no beacons. I do have bombers, though, so we gotta keep that in mind. Just destroy the deck. He is going in for a big final push, I think. And I would love to kill his Emperor, although it's more of a support ship than anything else, in truth.
Forward to the slaughter.
So, lock on.
Locking weapons.
And let's remember our Auger Disruptor, because that's going to be really useful here.
Tremble, for chaos comes.
So, one more. No, I have no more stasis bombs, so I gotta make this damage count.
For the dark gods.
And I do have an Auger Disruptor to keep in mind, too.
Get that damage repaired at once.
Although, with my Assault Run not available, it might be a little tricky to do.
Just show us something to kill.
So hit it hard, spread out the damage, finish him off.
Ready eternally.
He hasn't really been using his Assault Runs, that's like the main criticism I would have for this, but this is rapidly ending off for him. That thing is already dead because of the fires, I think. That's the hope anyway. But finish it off and we'll be golden. That's all we need to do. Finish these ships off.
We come for your souls.
And I might as well Lightning Strike, get some value out of this.
High energy turn.
I do have repairs though, and I haven't really been using Slanesh, so yeah, you can tell this is a bit of a rough match. An epic match, mind you. I like to think it's epic, although it's slow as hell as well at the same time.
Activated.
So I think we have this figured out. We have... The match has been decided at this point. We just gotta manage and avoid losing all my ships if at all possible.
Your orders.
So, with the Slanesh favor, it cannot escape, it cannot run away, so...
Your orders.
It's only up to him now, to how he wants to keep his fleet alive.
Slaughter them.
And I probably should kill the Widowmaker for good measure, because it is revealing me right now. And since I have lances that can always hit, this thing will die quickly. Alright, no torpedoes for you, this is over.
Cruising speed set.
What a game, though. Is he gonna warp out, though, is the big question still. That is the big question. It does not look like he's gonna commit to it, so we're gonna have to continue to fight this out, and I do need my fighters as well. Oh, is he gonna troll us? Nope, he just turned himself around. That's fine there. I could lose an Acheron if I'm not careful. That is still a possibility, but I have lock on, at least on one of my Acherons, so let's get some value out of that and finish this thing off quickly. The critical hits are going to start showing their value really damn quickly. And what's warping out of my own ship? Okay, let's not have that, please, because you do have the shields to take the hits. You're fine. And he just cast his supercharged void shield, so this will be over momentarily. He could always get a damn lucky boarding or bombing party, mind you, with his Emperor, because it is still an Emperor technically, with his 4 fighter squadrons. But that was fun. I definitely enjoyed that. Like I said before, though, it was an incredibly drawn out and slow match, mind you. So, may not have been exciting to watch, possibly. Especially since, well, I don't know what really to say. If those were overlords instead of the Marses, I'm losing my train of thought here, goddammit. But yeah, if they were overlords, he would have been able to do a little more damage at range, because those bombers, his Nova cannons, weren't really cutting it there. They were doing notable amount of damage to the Hellbringers over time, but that's mainly because they only had 100 shields on them. If he was shooting at the cruisers, though, they're just base stat shields are more than enough to weather that storm, at least on their own relatively well. If he starts hitting me with a lot of macro cannons and times it for when my shields are down, then that's a different story entirely, mind you. But a promising start nonetheless, I like to think. Alright, so we're going to be facing off against Space Marine Blue here, so I don't know which version of Blue this is, but we are fighting Space Marines, so in theory, unless he's going double battle barge, I should have a good time at least taking out strike cruisers. At least in theory. It does beg the question, I was going to say if I want to take this spoiler or not, but due to the lack of Nurgle, this thing is going to die really quickly once he gets in close range, so I'm not going to have that damage potential even with the armor-piercing rounds, in all honesty. Because I'm expecting Blue to already have a max level fleet, so I'm going to be a heavy underdog, at least with the despoiler, just because of that. Lack of upgrades as well as the favor to kind of like allow me to fight him toe to toe at point blank range, because the despoiler is not going to get away very effectively, mind you. And I do have a handful of Slaanesh. I did make a comment when I was playing Eldar about realistically how many Slaanesh favors there should be, and in my case, I'm going to have 4 available, so clearly I was wrong in my thought process about being hard countered, at least to a vague extent with the Slaanesh. It's still irritating with Eldar because they rely so heavily on cooldown based weaponry to do their damage, so it completely locks them out in that regard. As we kind of seen in my last video as Eldar when I had to face off against Chaos 3 times there. They were fun matches, mind you, but it just shows how that sweet spot I'm kind of forced to fight in, with 6,000 unit range pulsars on everything but the Voidstalker. So it makes that a little bit precarious, and I have an easy gas cloud position. So I kind of really want to go there, but if he charges me super aggressively, I'm kind of forfeiting it regardless, I feel like. So why not... I'm trying to think about where we deploy himself, because again, he might probably deploy over here just because of that fact, because I will want to avoid him, stay away from him, and this may not go well for me, so for the purposes of trying to get in his face quickly, I may want to just do that. Deploy there, so that way I can engage him quickly before a micro warp jump ideally. So to kind of maximize my damage, burn off some of his cooldowns, because it's kind of right in that regard, to a vague extent. And it's 4 ships, so this is possibly 2 strike cruisers, this battle barge. Well, it looks like they're all strike... Well, there's a Vanguard in this mix too. So 2 strike cruisers, a battle barge, and a Vanguard then? Yeah, the torpedoes are slightly... 2 Vanguards, a strike cruiser. Or I don't see how it would be 2 strike cruisers, because he definitely has the points for more, without a doubt. So let's just get going there, spot him early, force some salt runs off of him, and maybe do some early damage. I do have the extended range, so that will help. I just gotta prioritize my targets, so it just comes down to the question. Do I go after the Vanguards first, or do I hit something else to do a strike, hit the strike cruisers? Because here comes his beacon now, that's not a big deal. I'm already turning to avoid that to an extent. So that's not a problem. I have the gas cloud here. Let's just maximize our beacons. And get ready to turn and run. And I do have, let's see, I do have vision again.
We have sighted an enemy ship. We'll follow your command for now.
So let's quickly hit the components and at least try to.
Just show us something to kill.
And at least for the meantime, let's get this going. Because that's going to take a lot of damage in a hurry. And what I didn't really want to shoot at, but I have beacons to kind of spot and reveal his other ships in a hurry. And I still suspect, is the other ship a battle barge? That's the only thing I'm not sure about right now. And he did hit me with torpedoes there. I do have a fire result, so I'm going to have to be forced to repair that some. Now, let's use these stasis bombs to my advantage, shall we? Because I am going to get out of range of this. My Hellbringers are gonna fire.
Tactical cogitators engaged.
And in all honesty, this works to my advantage to a vague extent. It's just because of the glitch. The bug that is there, that is going to cause problems.
An enemy ship. Return to normal function.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, I forgot about the shields not being down, but that thing should be dead momentarily. I'm worried about my lances glitching out in all honesty. And if I can fire torpedoes or take out the shields, then I just fire my own lances on them. Alright, so Assault Run's available there. Let's finish off this thing quickly. And ideally deal with his strike cruisers, because again, I don't know if his weaponry bugged out or not.
Chaos comes.
Just finish off the strike cruisers. I'm not doing a good job, but that thing's dead with a bombing attempt.
Engines hot.
Oh, and I thought my Assault Run was working. Auger Disruptor should fix that quickly.
Just show us something to kill. Spectros activating.
Oh, and he does have a battle barge, so that answers that question there.
Ready eternally.
To a vague extent, let's just make sure. Well, I'm not seeing any ores, mind you, so
Come on, me.
doesn't really matter in that regard too much just yet.
Set engines to full ahead.
Just keep on firing, shoot down the torpedoes.
Orders.
Try to anyway. And I didn't repair. Okay, I did repair
Return
with
to
this.
normal function.
So just keep firing, destroy the shields,
Gods.
and attach onto the battle barge. Always a welcome addition. And I don't think I have overload or overcharge just yet, but
To normal function.
we can't deny the lock-on. At the very least, we can deny that. Do I have a nerve Slanesh? I do have a nerve Slanesh. I just gotta get him in range first for that.
Just show us something to kill. Engines
This thing's on all sorts of fire. It's kind of this one ship I want to kind of take these hits too.
Repair my ship or else.
Unfortunately, that was the wrong ship there. For some reason, I was thinking maybe
Return to normal
that would
function.
be was it the
Ready eternally.
which one? The Devastation I had repairs up. It's not going to be up for another 20 seconds. But that thing's dead. Alas, its lock-on's no longer available.
Return to normal function.
Now let's just finish this off because my damage is getting spread horribly here. And no, you are not insubordinate just yet. So finish this thing off. Stop mutinying. Jeez, what's with all these mutinies for crying out loud? That was not what I was expecting.
For the dark gods.
But his belt armor's gone.
Forward to the slaughter.
Damage is... This thing is getting rammed. If I can kill the battle barge, that'll help a ton, because my Acheron's still fighting completely unhindered here.
Coordinates.
Now, folks, split your fire and take out the one Vanguard. That's going to help a ton in this regard.
We've lost one of our line ships.
And I don't have Salt Run, and both my broadside, both my weaponry are kind of out at the moment, so...
Come on, men.
Kill the battle barge, if that's possible. Its shields are still available, though, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to do.
Set engines to full ahead. Tremble.
I can still evade, though, pretty well. Oh, and the wreckage is kind of getting in my way, too, so that's a little unfortunate.
For the ruinous powers.
Yeah, a little more firepower definitely would have been good, and the boring torpedoes are actually doing no notable amount of damage. But
For now.
at the moment, this thing is on its own, and I can evade these Thunderhawks relatively well. I just gotta wait a full 2 minutes before this thing can fire its weaponry again. So there's the Prow gone. Thankfully, that's only... What is it? Thankfully, that was only the macro cannons, so that's not a huge issue just yet.
Coordinates.
I just gotta be mindful,
Ready eternally.
again, of dealing with these torpedoes to the best of my abilities. Because I can dodge these micro warp jumps coming on up. Just a few more hits will kill
Return to normal
these.
function.
That's the hope anyway.
Tremble, for chaos comes.
And if it draws fire, this thing's actually pretty decent there, drawing fire.
Engines hot.
It's not quite over yet. Can I get the killing blow I want? It looks like it's over at last, so that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, that's a shame.
Orders.
How could I have done that better? Well, really, it was a lot of split fire there. I wanted to shoot at the strike cruisers early on, to be honest, and not the Vanguards.
Heavy damage.
That would have gone a lot better for me. And I think I still had a stasis bomb still available, to be honest. So yeah, really hard to say. The focus fire without a doubt, because that Vanguard was doing more damage than it probably had a right to with the boring torpedoes. So definitely a learning experience there. I would like to try that again, in all honesty. I definitely would like to try it again to improve on it, because alas, we get no experience off that as a result. And how bad is the damage there? Is going to burn all my renown there. Only one ship actually made out. So I would definitely like to try that again. I'm a little bit weary about bringing out the spoiler because again, it's going to die incredibly fast because it can't really get away very effectively. It does have the micro warp jump to help in that regard some, but the focus firing is the big priority there. Because I didn't want to shoot at the Vanguards. I guess it was the most convenient target at the time there. Let's give it one more shot though. Alright there, so looks like I'm going to get hard countered a little bit because Blue has decided to go with his orcs there. So, unfortunately I'm not going to get my rematch, as it were. And I might be forced to have to stasis bomb the hell out of his army there a little bit. Because his tractor cannons are just going to force a confrontation with me there. I'm going to have a hard time getting away. I don't recall him having beacons, mind you, but I'm going to need a lot of stasis bombs for this to work out to my liking. So with that said, do I go with 2 devastations? I get slightly less lances, and because of my mobility on the iconoclasts there, maybe I can at least spot them a lot more quicker, and that way maybe can do damage at range. The idea is more stasis bombs, and to keep myself hidden for said tractor cannons, because again, I don't suspect he has the beacons. I don't recall the beacons. I do question his composition a little bit though. And the spoiler without a doubt would not have been very practical because it doesn't have any heavy armor to kind of help mitigate the the mega cannons for me. So I'm going to be stuck having to deal with the brute force, the sheer health pool of the orc fleet. So once I can identify him, that helps a ton, but this gas cloud complicates it a lot. Just a little bit. And he's not going to have torpedoes, so I'm going to be relying on these devastations to do really good damage on any isolated orc frigate, cruiser mind you. And I do have 2 auger disruptors that kind of help a little bit in that regard. As soon as the tractor cannons in, or micro warp jumps in, maybe I could just jam him in Salt Run. Although, if he holds back with any of his other ships there, then he can just micro warp jump after I use my auger disruptor, so that's probably not very practical.
Ready eternally.
But let's go in there super aggressively and just do what damage we can. Cripple the hell out of him, especially with this asteroid belt to use to my advantage. So he does have a different fleet composition, as odd as it may sound, which isn't a huge issue for me. I have siege favors. I have 2 siege favors to help in that regard, so not a huge deal just yet. I gotta keep in mind of that fact, though. Now, the Iconoclast Idolator is going to go in relatively easy to spot. And let me get... Well, the fighters are kind of pointless unless I witness he has torpedoes, mind you, so... And I did burn all my boosters, so that's a bit of a shame. Now it's just a question what he has. He probably has for the beacons. The only thing I could think of is he has the shock attack guns, maybe. It's the only thing I could think of that would justify the beacons.
Switch to silent running.
But if we can spot him, that helps a ton. And this is good positioning for me to an extent.
Ready eternally.
Okay, so I am prepared for a torpedo spam. And one of them is a battleship, so...
Adjusting rotation.
The big question, can I get the hits I want? That's the only thing I don't know, and he has... Okay, and he has Solid Run as well. Well, that's kind of cute. I do have to be very careful of those torpedoes. Or Nova cans, though.
Return to normal function.
But if I can do damage, that would also be helpful some. It's not very effective damage, mind you, but at least he does not have extended sensors, so that helps in that regard. So let's just get going, do the damage I need to, stay out of his dang vision.
Just show us something to kill.
And he's doing the sap can route, so...
Set engines to full ahead.
Come on, boost ahead. Don't lag out on me, as much as I know you want to.
Retros activated. We have sighted an enemy ship.
So, do damage to these things quickly.
Your orders.
Sadly, my idolator is kind of screwed, but...
Tremble, for chaos comes.
Unfortunately, yeah, this is not working very well there. He's just hugging the gas cloud there. For the time being. I could keep throwing beacons on the gas cloud, so that's not a huge issue just yet.
Command me.
But I do need to be mindful of that at the same time.
We'll follow your command for now.
So we're just going to put a stasis bomb there for a little bit of assurance as I go in and prepare to kind of force him out of the gas cloud. That's the idea of like these spamming beacons. Because there's not much you can do in this regard just yet.
We've sighted an enemy ship.
I would love to throw a beacon on the ships, but that's not really going to happen very well. But the more beacons in the gas cloud, the better. Because those Nova cans are eventually going to break, I just got to weather that storm really well. I'm just thankful he doesn't have tractor cans with that said.
Return to normal function.
So,
Tactical cogitation.
can I identify any way? I can to a vague extent.
Return to normal function. Your orders. Return to normal function.
So get this out of the way. He is
Internally.
doing a lot of damage to me though.
Executing high energy turn. Engines hot. Command me.
The hammer took a lot of damage. Sadly, I took a lot of damage, but
Retros
they're
activated.
hitting. You're not hitting just yet, but you have a solid run available.
Your orders.
Unless you were revealed and I'm not aware of it. Okay, fighters, do your
For the
thing.
dark gods.
Lances, do your damage.
Cruising speed.
And apparently I'm being revealed and sapped. Why am I being sapped?
Just show us
I don't
something
see a
to kill.
beacon. There is no beacon there, so why the hell am I being revealed? Is the serious question here, right now.
Return to normal function.
I could not answer why I'm being revealed, mind you. Because it doesn't seem like it
We'll follow
should
your command
be the
for
case.
now. For the dark gods.
Because are my other ships being revealed for this case? Because like I said, I'm using a goddamn Salt Run special order, so... But if his prows break, that helps a ton.
Tremble, for chaos comes. Retros
Alright,
activated.
just keep doing damage.
Ready eternally.
Get that out of the way. Fighters are doing their job. This is not going to be
Follow your
pretty with that
command
said
for
regardless.
now.
And sadly, I do not have Salt Run because I don't have the camo. That's a big issue. The fact I don't have the camo to double the duration of my Salt Run is going to be pretty well felt in this regard. And again, we are fighting sheer health pool here too, so... I'm just wondering why my devastation was still getting spotted though, unless it's a dang another glitch there that's allowing that my devastation had a beacon on it without my knowing. That's the only thing I could think of.
Something to kill.
But let's warp this thing out.
Darting warp engines.
I don't think he's going to let it warp out, but we're going to have to try regardless in this regard.
Cruising speed set.
So get on boosting out, try and avoid... Well, he already has torpedoes, we kind of already know that. And we're getting some extra shots here, just not much of shots. And I kind of want Salt Run available as an option, as much as I would love a lock on.
Your orders.
So Devastation, keep hitting the rear, keep hounding these things.
Powers.
Because really, so long as I'm hit... I'm not quite hitting just yet, am I? Come to think of it, because he did reveal me already.
For now.
I may have to take these torpedo hits some, though. I thought I grouped these things, I guess not. I accidentally grouped them group 1, that might have been what happened.
Moving to those
And I did use all my boosters at the same time, so that's an awful consequence of this.
Apart.
But we did dodge most of the torpedoes, we are going to get wedged into
Ready
corners some.
eternally.
Can we at least start sending their numbers down?
For the dark gods.
Come on. Oh yeah, the sap cans are kind of slowing it down.
Tremble, for chaos comes.
So can I auger disruptor before as they get into range? That will help a ton in this mess.
Tactical cogitators engaged.
Sure, micro warp jump. I still have the assault run,
Retros activated.
and now it's just a question. I still took the Nova Cannon damage. That's no surprise there. So finish this thing off.
Retros activated.
Can I turn in time? No, I cannot. Those torpedoes are a huge hit, but the cruiser's about to die.
Command me.
There is that, potentially. And also, I could be using Siege to kind of negate the Nova cannons at the same time, too.
Charging warp engines.
I want them to warp out because I do want to preserve the experience.
Mind and body.
We'll see. He is exploding. That is something that's going for me there.
Engines hot.
He's not. Nah, it just died immediately.
We've lost one of our line ships.
A lot of them are really damn crippled, though. But again, I feel like... I don't know what the hell happened to my Devastation game revealed. Maybe it got a beacon on it without my knowing. It's the only thing I could think of in that regard.
Unstoppable.
It's the only thing I can think of anyway, because it doesn't seem to make much sense.
Return to
And I
normal
am going to have
fortune.
Salt Run available in a moment, so I can Auger Disruptor once he charges in to give me a little more breathing room.
Switch to silent running. Moving to
Get
those
moving.
coordinates.
Get moving. Oh yeah, it's the sap cannons to slow me down, which is kind of weird. I just Auger Disruptored, so...
Setting course.
Oh, and he's also in the stasis bomb apparently too, so that's a little inconvenient.
For ruinous
It helped me
powers.
dodging those one torpedoes, I suppose.
Set agents to
I should try and warp this thing out, but especially while the Assault Run's available. I need to get some progress on this fleet if I want its true power to be realized.
For now.
Thankfully, it was a little more serious because I imagine
Tremble.
that
For
the
chaos
tracked cannons
comes.
would be more of a nuisance there to deal with because I couldn't just get away.
Retros activated.
But again, camo is a big deal there because it's double the duration of my Assault Run, which
For now.
in theory would only give me like 10 seconds.
Charging warp
Was it about
engines.
10 seconds to Assault Run and all that? Well, it gives me 10 seconds of not being able to Assault Run, so that's fine in that regard. So I wonder if I do want to switch out the Disruption Overcharge to try and get that sooner. I wonder. I'm curious. Nonetheless, there's a lot of things I want to work on for this fleet to get more power out of it. The Assault Run on the Siege is definitely a big deal there, because the less shots I have to take, because I can easily manage the torpedoes relatively well. I did make a big mistake letting the boosters run out, with that said. And it was getting to the point that if my ships could survive a little bit longer before taking the heavy casualties, then that could have easily turned itself around. Because his ships were all basically very heavily crippled, aside for maybe the battleship itself. And if he was just going to explode on me all the time there, then that would have made things snowball in my favor a lot more if I could kill him quicker. So I need to be on top of my orders a little bit more. I don't think I was getting the lock-ons as much as I like there, because what? That's like 12 shots, and all of them with these lances would give him about 4.25 critical hit chance for each shot. At least the ones that hit the hulls, so I could have done a lot of hull breaches and fires over time. But nonetheless, there's still a lot to work on, as I said.